Welcome back to Premsy TV. Got a new show for you with my boy Tom. It's called Premier League Unpacked, and we're going to be bringing it to you once a week. Obviously, the timing's a little bit late today, obviously due to some commitments we both had, but we'll try to bring it a little bit earlier to you. And today's topic is this the most competitive Premier League that we've seen since it started, Tom? Talk to me.
I mean, first of all, thanks for having me, bro. Like I told you, from when I seen that first clip on AFTV, I felt like you had a gift for this thing. Do you know what I mean? And to watch you posting up regular videos on this channel, I've become a regular watcher myself. So it's it feels good to be on here with you
Nah, I
today, chopping it
appreciate
up. I
it, bro.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
But yo, your knowledge is great, man. So you have to. We had to start this show together. We've known each other for so
Yeah,
long, from
we
boys
have
to men. You get me? So it's got
100%,
to be done.
100%. And you know what? I think in a way that's kind of where this topic had came from. I think, like you said, we've known each other since young. I think if you go back, over 10 years ago, high school times, when man was watching ball back then, things was very different then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Obviously, things for City were very different. Arsenal, in a way, I think my bond with Arsenal as a City fan has kind of always been there from them years, because back when we was no good really, and bouncing in between the Premier League and the old Division 1 in kind of the early 2000s, and we was relying on Arsenal to stop United and to do the job for us. And
anybody but
obviously
United.
well, yeah, and Arsenal were the ones to do it more time, and you had to love Henry and Vieira and Bergkamp and that team. Do you know what I mean? So that was like my kind of my second team, I guess. So but yeah, like looking back then, I think probably we had a little look earlier, didn't we, at kind of the final standings of the Premier League over different seasons in the last 10, 15 years. And I think when we look from kind of 2003 to 2008, pretty much every season there was an established top four of United, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. And each year it was some variation of them four. I think barring that one year when Everton got fourth and there was that madness with them not getting their Champions League place because of Liverpool and all the rest. Generally speaking, it was those four clubs. Do you know what I mean? And then by 2009, 2010, City and Tottenham have kind of come into the picture and started getting in the top four on the odd season, and then it's kind of started to turn into a top six maybe. But even then, for the last 15, 20 years, the vast majority of those seasons, barring probably 2, 3, 4 occasions, it's been some variation of those top four and then that top six all the way through until the last year or two, when it feels like, to me, that's starting to break down a little bit and there's more teams coming into the mix. There's your team, Arsenal, and there's United, that are these big forces that have been having a difficult time and have been finishing, lower than I once thought we would have ever seen them finish in the Premier League. Meanwhile, your West Hams, your Leicesters come through and win a league. And yeah, that's kind of where we, I guess, stumbled onto the conversation from, in terms of giving some backstory to us watching the game together, but also this topic, innit? So
Yeah,
I don't know, what's your initial feeling on it? Like, just the statement itself. Like, do you feel like it feels more competitive now? Do you feel like it feels like it was more competitive back then?
do you know what? It's a bit. It's very hard to compare for me, Tom, because for me, back then it was like 70% brawn, 30% brains. Now it's
Yeah.
like 80% brain, 20% brawn.
Yeah.
And that's just because
Yeah.
of like being allowed to do certain things. For example,
Okay.
the referees, they're a lot harsher.
Mm.
VAR's in place. Obviously, I know that's only come over the last couple of years, but even still,
No,
you can't
but
really
yeah.
go in. Like, one thing Granit Xhaka says, he said he came from the Bundesliga because it was too soft for him. Since he's
Yeah.
come here, no, on a real, obviously everyone knows
Yeah.
where I stand on Granit Xhaka, bro. Trust me.
Mate.
But since he's come here, bro, he's just getting red cards
Yeah.
left, right, and centre. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them are his fault. A lot of them are his fault. But what I'm trying to say is like,
Yes,
it's totally
he weren't.
different.
he
to
was
how
getting
he is
away
now.
with some of this
See how
before. Yeah,
Roy
yeah, yeah.
Keane,
I
see
get
how
yeah.
Roy Keane and
Yeah.
Vieira were
Oh
at
my
it.
god.
See
You
if
play
that
about
was
6
now,
games a season.
yo, bro, if that was now, yeah, Roy Keane and Vieira in the
Yeah.
tunnel, they'll
They'd
get
be
sent
suspended.
off. They'll
Yeah.
get sent off
Before
before
they
they
get
come
on.
out. You
Yeah,
get
yeah,
me?
yeah. It's true.
That's the
It's true.
difference for me. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very hard to compare, but now it's all down to like technical
Mm,
players. It's all down to working and tracking back. It's less down
mm,
to like more passion and desire. Where back then players were
mm,
built different. Do you know what I mean? Like
mm.
they don't make players like Henry and Ronaldo, and I'm talking about Brazilian Ronaldo here, and they don't make certain players like
Yeah,
that no more. The
yeah,
Batistuters. There's
yeah,
there's so much
yeah.
that has changed and evolved with the game. Is like if you look at the
Mm.
managers as well, like Arsene Wenger was a prime example of it, Tom. Like
A
he
legend.
was one of the greatest managers
Yeah.
one of the greatest managers the Premier League's
Mm,
ever seen. However, you've seen his natural decline because he failed to adapt with the times.
mm,
And he was that manager that was proof of the new time and the old time, where certain
mm.
managers would adapt to the time and be willing to try new things, where Wenger was just
Mm.
old school, set in his mind, and obviously
Yeah,
in the end it didn't end well for him. So coming back to
yeah.
the obviously to the competitive of it is now, I feel like the league is much competitive now in a sense because of the level of managers throughout of it, the money
Mm,
that's running through the clubs. And to
mm,
be honest with you, look, when we was growing up, it was Arsenal United. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? And it was
mm.
either one whoever was more or less going to win them games or more or less going to win the season in
Yeah,
them particular
yeah,
times.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah, yeah.
Chelsea came into it. City eventually
Got into
came
the
into
fold.
it.
Yeah,
I know obviously
yeah.
City's been more or less dominating for over the last 10 years or so. So you've seen a massive like swing
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
in the way the Premier League has
Mm-hmm.
changed. And for me, I think money plays a massive part in it. It's like Newcastle
Uh-huh.
United. Now there's one on the ticker down there. You'll see I've got another thing on there saying, "Is Newcastle now will the money turn into trophies?" And for me, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's inevitable for it to happen because it's happened with you
Mm,
guys. It's happened pretty much with
mm,
everybody, really. The most richest
mm-hmm.
teams in the league, they're going to definitely be in and
Yeah.
around there, unless you got
Which has
stupid
which
owners.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Which has
us.
always been the case, by the way. Like, I think people like to have a bit short-term memory loss and
Mm,
forget that there was once upon a time when, the likes of us, the cities, the most of the clubs in the league, were scraping around bottom end transfers, and United and the teams at the top of the Premier League were breaking the transfer kind of
mm.
record almost every season. So it has always been the case that, money has generally it moves you it gives you more opportunities to move in that direction of winning stuff. Listen, these comments are
Bloody hell,
distracting me, you
Steve
know what I
lost some
mean?
weight, you know.
Deep. Look,
Mad thing, I'm gonna
shout
have to
out to
link up
Steve,
you and
man.
Steve one time, man.
Shout
Trust
out
me.
to Steve,
I
man.
found
Yeah.
another City
Prem
fan.
showed me some of Steve's stuff.
To be honest
Don't
with you, people, I got a
where
vouch
we
for
come
Tom. You
from.
get me? Like
Yeah,
Tom's been a diehard City fan for
yeah,
years. You know what I mean? And
definitely.
to be honest with you, a lot of people are out here like Big Steve, yeah. And I gotta give Big Steve all the props because he's reps it for
Mm,
Man City hard, and you don't really see that many
yeah,
people. But now City's out and City's doing well. More
yeah.
people are coming out of the
It's a good
woodworks.
feeling. It's true.
I'm
But I
telling you,
think
bro.
I think I think in a way people feel like and I guess at the very top, and this is not me just being kind of carried away as a City fan, but maybe at the very top it's not as competitive. City are dominating so much. It's
Mm,
easy for the answer to the question to be, well, it's not competitive because Pep and City, barring Klopp here and there, are just dominating the league. So at that point, yeah, it's not that competitive. But then when we drop down past maybe them top two,
yeah.
them next 5, 6, 7, 8 spots, all the way down to 10th now, there's more and more names that get thrown into that mix. If we look at the league, the league at the moment, we've got City top, Liverpool, Chelsea, then United, West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham, Wolves, Brighton, and Leicester. That's not
Mm,
mentioning. I know you wanted to get on to have a talk about Villa and their situation with Gerrard, Everton, and Lampard. There's a lot of Newcastle, like you said at the bottom with the
Newcastle,
money.
yeah.
There's a lot of clubs that are now coming into this kind of conversation about maybe fighting for a European place and trying to build and push on from that to get to where a City has got to, going from being one of these clubs that was, not in the conversation to being up at that top level. And like you said, the money's there now. A lot of
Yeah.
these clubs have got multi-billion-pound kind of owners behind them. So, I mean, I know there was a few clubs in particular in that kind of list that you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, like for example, I'd say Steven Gerrard with Aston Villa. He's doing a great job there. And it's for me as well, Tom. See the level of managers that the Premier League's seeing at the moment is unbelievable when you actually think about it. Like when you think Tottenham Hotspur have got Conte. That's a
Bro,
madness.
that was the first one that came to my mind.
You tell me 10 years ago, if I would say to you, Tottenham can draw a manager like that, you'd have a laugh to say that. Sam Allardyce, Harry Redknapp, that's their lane.
Yeah.
But obviously money talks now, bullshit walks. And this is where the Premier League's come to. And going back onto Steven Gerrard and Villa, what Steven Gerrard's done, you know, I think he needs to get a lot of credit for, because he went to a Rangers side and stopped Celtic winning a 10th title in a row, which is hard to do. He won the league unbeaten. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he left, but he left Rangers in a good place. Now they're able to attract players like Aaron Ramsey and stuff like that. He's come into Villa. He's brought in Coutinho. He's brought in a few players. He brought in Luca Dean from Everton. You know, these are good players, and they all want to play alongside. Well, not alongside, but they want to play. That's Frank Lampard. They want to play along underneath Steven Gerrard, and you can see. I think it was what you were saying before when we was having a chat that Aston Villa's after Arsenal, the richest club in the league.
Yeah, I think I'd let me see if I've got the article somewhere in front of me. I think they after Arsenal, I think maybe the 5th richest in the league in terms of the estimated net worth of the owner. So yeah, Nassaf Sawiris, the Egyptian, that replaced their old owner in 2018, is estimated at I've just lost the figure. I think it's 5.8 billion his net worth.
Right.
And yeah, with Stan Kroenke being estimated at 6.3 billion, according to this article.
So they're in,
you know, yeah, you wouldn't think of Villa as being maybe able to spend big in the transfer market, and we haven't necessarily seen that just yet. But if they can build something with Gerrard, and I think they will build something with Gerrard, because I agree with you. I think he's a good manager. I think he's shown good promise at Rangers, and he, you know, obviously he was a top player. I think if they can build something, you know, have a strong finish to this season, and then build something next season, and maybe get into a, you know, 5th position, a 6th position, maybe even, you know, if they manage to go on a run and try and push for Europe next season, let's say, after, I'm sure, adding some people next summer, then the summer after that, you wouldn't be surprised if you suddenly see Aston Villa go into the market strong, you know, looking at having had a season and a half of Gerrard and it going well, that they might start seeing some of that money getting thrown around and some big signings coming to Villa. And then all of a sudden, there might be a problem. So that's how quickly things can or could change now with some of these clubs having that much money. And like you said, with the quality of managers in and around that money in these clubs. You know
it's like there with Villa. You tell me, Tom, not even 5 years ago, three years ago, you tell me you see Aston Villa coming to Arsenal trying to buy Emil Smith-Rowe, one of their best talents. Get out of here, bro. They didn't even put 1 bid in, they put 2. Like, that's what the league's come to now. Teams can come to other teams and say to them, right, we can also provide you with that money. Do you want a new challenge? And depending on the project that your team's selling these players, is depending whether they're going to stay or not. They're not going to wait the whole career out at your club, whether they love the club or not, to win absolutely nothing. Because as a player, where's your ambition then?
Yes. And they're getting money everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's not like at one point where, you know, and again, people accuse City of this, like everyone's going to City just because they can go get a bag over there. Do you know what I mean? They're going to get crazy wages. And before, they was winning everything at City. But now you can get crazy wages all over the place. So like you said, in a way, that alone ain't going to be enough of an incentive to some of the better prospects. They are going to eventually be looking at, you know, it's like a Harry Kane or something. We've seen, like, at a certain point, no matter how ridiculous his salary could get at Tottenham, he wants to finish his career with some trophies. So people they're going to be, I'm scared in 5 years we might turn to a mid-table team like Palace and Everton. That can happen because of the fact that there's so many other teams that are pressing in and around that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th spot. Now that can happen.
Yeah,
I don't want it to happen, and I don't think it will happen with Everton.
See Everton, Tom, See with Everton now, fair enough. They made a silly decision bringing Benitez in, because personally, I wouldn't have brought in a Liverpool legend to manage my team if I was an Everton owner or in that direction. But however, they're not broke. See, Usmanov, he was on Arsenal's board. He wanted to the full takeover of Arsenal, and best believe he's got big bucks behind him. Yeah, they might have problems spending some money in regards to financial fair play, but trust me, these kind of rich people always find a way. But they're showing 100%. Promise. Like, see with Frank Lampard, he came in on the first day, signed Donny van der Beek, signed Dele Alli. That shows in certain aspects they know what they're doing, even though it might have not worked out for them on the pitch. Now they're bringing in Frank Lampard. For me, I think that's probably a shrewd move because
100%.
You know, he's already attracted players like Dele Alli, because I couldn't really see Dele Alli or a Donny van der Beek really going to Everton before Frank Lampard went there. I think that they've gone in for the Ancelotti, they've gone in for the Benitez, the experienced managers, and for them, it's not worked out. Obviously, bear in mind, Everton are not really trying to win no league. They're only trying to compete for Europe, and that's a realistic target for them. So a Frank Lampard, would you say, Tom, from a City fan, would you say that he deserved a bit more credit for the season that he gave Chelsea up until Tuchel took over and they won the Champions League, for some of the structure 100%. That he put into place? Because a lot of people mock Frank Lampard. They don't really give him much credit. Do you know what I mean?
It annoys me, bro. It annoys me. I've been saying that. I feel like there was a bit of a hype train behind Tuchel after the Champions League win and the FA Cup win. Or it was the FA Cup, innit, that they beat us in the other final. Yeah. And rightly so, do you know what I mean?
I think Leicester win the FA Cup. I thought didn't Leicester win the FA Cup?
Was it just Champions League? It was just Champions League.
They won the Champions
in any
League,
case, the Champions League, everyone was kind of on that Tuchel hype train. And to some extent, rightly so, do you know what I mean? Guys come in and won the Champions League, beat Pep in the final. But I feel like the foundation for his success, a lot of that was laid by Lampard. Do you know what I mean? Whether you were talking about the team that he put together, whether we were talking about the good work that Lampard was doing there and the kind of the good results they were getting at one point. Okay, they'd had a lull when he kind of got the sack and when Tuchel got brought in. But I think at that point, they must have had their eyes on Tuchel anyway. Do you know what I mean? So they were just waiting for an opportunity with Lampard. But I think even Mason Mount, I think that what the player Mason Mount became, that's not a coincidence that he really started to come into his stride under Lampard, a player that, you know, you can see certain aspects of Mount's game obviously molded in that Frank Lampard kind of mold. So I think he is a really good manager. I don't think he got enough credit at Chelsea, and I think he will feel a bit like he's got a point to prove coming to Everton. And I think that's what Everton needed. And I think that's I like what you were saying about Rafa and Ancelotti, because they're top managers. But Everton, I don't know if they're turning up at Everton feeling like, you know, this is a key moment in my career, and if I can do what I've got to do with Everton, that's going to be really important for my legacy. Ancelotti's won flipping, you know, everything there is to win. So Lampard coming in, you know, again with some ambitious owners and with some good players, and then with him feeling like I need to prove to people, or I want to prove to people, that actually the job I was doing at Chelsea maybe got overlooked, and now you're going to see it because I'm going to do it with an Everton. You know, I'm going to get them into the 16th at the moment. You know, it's not a joke. He's coming into a relegation battle, really. Okay, they got a few games in hand, but they're only 4 points off the relegation zone.
See,
so
with Lampard,
that's going to be a test for him.
See, with Lampard, I give him a little bit of credit for the players that he managed to attract to Chelsea and some of the structure that he put into place. But for me, no manager can fully get my full-on respect until they start winning and they're showing a consistency. Because likewise, that's like with Arteta. See, with me, I'm not a big Arteta fan. He obviously won the FA Cup, but I can't really see his vision just yet, if that makes sense. So I can see his vision, but I just don't think it's going to pan out. But with Lampard, like, I think the great thing about Lampard for Everton is attracting players. And I think where he'll be motivated is where Steven Gerrard's at Aston Villa, and they were both from the same era. So he'll have that competitiveness between, look on the low key, I want to be better than my man. He's going to think, I want to be better than my man, because they've always had that little bit of competition between them. Obviously, you know, Lampard's more of a free scoring midfielder, but Gerrard had that long range distance. They were both quality. So I think that might help Everton, because obviously, in the sense of who else were they going to get, I can't really see who else they were actually going to get. And maybe if they give him some money and he can start building his own little project, they might be a little bit beneficial from it. Because look, you see, like David Moyes is getting West Ham back to where Everton once was. Do you know when he had Everton and they were doing bits and stuff like that, and they had like Leon Osman and like what's his name now? The
Tim
Cahill. Tim Cahill, that's the fella.
Tim Howard.
Tim Howard, the American. They
Yeah.
had, so
Obviously Wayne Rooney for a moment before he
but
moved on.
he done his great years at United, and you know what
He
as
did,
well.
but he was
I don't think
a player.
enough. I don't think Wayne Rooney gets enough applaud. It's because you know what, even though he was a United player and I couldn't stand him because he always played brilliant against us.
Yeah.
By God, you know when he was playing on that pitch, he would grab the game.
Bruv.
But there was nobody that grabbed the game like the scruff of the neck. Like
I was there. I was in Old Trafford when he scored that overhead kick.
Yeah,
there,
madness.
right in front of me. Do you know what I mean?
Madness.
Horrible.
Just imagine,
Dagger.
like,
I seen him hit a few daggers on us.
People didn't expect that. People didn't expect Fat Boy to get his leg up, and smash a worldie like that. But he proved people wrong.
I calling him fat bastard because I knew it was like Michael Jordan. They started shouting "you fat bastard" to Wayne Rooney. Yeah, excuse my language, but you know, and you knew it was only a matter of 10-15 minutes before he was going to go and do something crazy and come and celebrate in front of you. I'd rather they just left him alone. Do you know what I mean?
But most definitely. But coming back to that point about like within 5 years that Arsenal turn into a mid-table team, it's very possible.
I don't think you will.
The owners, it's very possible. Right now, for the last 2 seasons, Tom, we finished 8th. Let me tell you now, when we were growing up, we seen that, bro. That is that. And the man's still hanging on to his job, bro. And it's crazy. Everything's crazy right now.
But is he hanging on to his job because the league's so competitive? So coming 8th, okay, 8th is unacceptable for Arsenal. But are the owners being realistic that to get to top 4, top 5, there's a lot you're coming up against now, and it might, you know, like when they keep talking about these long-term 5-year plans.
If you look at Brighton, bro, you look at Brighton, these guys have got a great manager in Graham Potter.
Shouldn't be in the same sentence, should they?
But exactly now,
it's bad that it's disrespectful saying that.
Unfortunately, they're like 4 places behind us, but they play a lot better football than what we play. And this is a person who did he manage Ostersund or something like that? Got him through like 4 divisions or something mad. You know what I mean? So he knows what he's doing. He's got good football. Obviously, he's just not got a fancy name, and he's not actually won much because he probably hasn't been in a position
to win
to do so. But if they're doing it, Brighton, that are nowhere near financially stable as where we are as a club, then clearly the structure is definitely damaged. And that's where, as an Arsenal fan, it proper pisses me off, bro, because it's like I can see it. Many other people can see it. Yeah, it's all good saying you can trust this process, but I'm not asked that. I want to see results. Football's based on results. We go to games to see what's going on. And if shit carries on the way it is at Arsenal, Tom, we're going to be, the temp's going to be our where we're going to be, because we can't just rely on youth. And this window that we've had as well has been an absolute shit show. I'm telling you. So there's a good chance, because you got to think, like as we were speaking about before, Everton, they've got money. Now Lampard's coming, Gerrard with Villa. These are 3 teams that are still out of the top 10, outside the top 10, Newcastle, Everton and Villa. And all of them are looking like they're on an upwards ascendancy. We couldn't even get Bruno Guimaraes over the line or even attempt him, and Newcastle can get him. Do you know what I mean? You tell me what's up there in Newcastle. Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And Kroenke's got that money, but I think we were saying earlier that, you know, he's got that money, but he's also got, outside of any other business ventures he's got going on that distract him from Arsenal, he's also got the LA Rams American football team that are through to the Super Bowl this year in LA. You know what I mean? A massive franchise and a massive, you know, business and focus. And he's got the Denver Nuggets in the NBA. I think even when he gets his mind round to thinking about sport, I think Arsenal is 3rd on that list. So I think even with all that money, in a way, you almost think, would you be better off with someone with half his money, but the only sports team they own is Arsenal?
And fully invested into the club.
They bought it because they're really trying to take it from here to here, not because they're saying, yo, it's a good financial investment. Probably makes sense to have a bit of real estate over there in the Premier League. You know, I can make sure that each year I'm getting a return of X amount of my money. This is, you know, he'll put money in, and the fans, I guess, then will redirect the blame to an Edu, to Arteta, and all of them deserve the blame. But you know, it's easy to say, oh, well, Kroenke is putting money in, but I'm sure he's only putting in the amount that he's calculated, you know, I need to put in to continue to make my drink out. He doesn't seem like he's moving with the intention that the Abu Dhabi group had when they came in, took over City. And it's like, no, we're going to take this, and it's a project, and we're going to build, like the word you used before hit the nail on the head. You know, a project. Aston Villa, you can see a project happening over there. Even Everton, we can see the start of a project. At Arsenal, there's the process or whatever they're talking about, but it's hard to see and believe and get behind like a particular project from the top to the bottom. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like the owners are probably just kind of bumbling along and trying to make a drink. God knows what's going on with Edu. Arteta is kind of just surviving partly because they don't know what they're doing anyway. And to get rid of him when you don't know what you're doing might be an even worse decision.
It's like these men are
so they're kind of
scared of
holding
him
on to
now.
stability.
Trust me, it's like these
I think
men
they're
are
scared.
of him.
I think they're scared of being without him. They're scared of being of what happens if we get rid of him and things get worse and
but
more
see these
unstable
man,
and we can't
see
replace
these
him.
man, Tom, check it. If these man had any bloody brains about them, they would have sacked him when shit wasn't great anyway, when we lost the first 3 games of the season and brought in Antonio Conte and made a shrewd move. One of the greatest managers that is rolling in the world, come on the back of winning the league. He's already an expert in bringing failure teams to the top. It meets the criteria, but it
what if he doesn't want to
shows.
come to Arsenal?
You're telling me now,
What if they approached him?
Bro, you're telling me we didn't approach him, but you're telling me now, this is what I'm trying to say. Tottenham Hotspur can
I'm
get
going
Antonio
to Arsenal
Conte
over Tottenham. But
bro, anybody is, but
no,
trust me, bro.
But
the managers, money talks in football, bro. Money talks.
Yeah, you're right. If they put the right money down, you're right. If they put the right money down, you're right. Yeah.
Bro,
because that's what you're asking for, isn't it? Kroenke, step out and put. Even if he fancies somewhere else more, double up the money. Do whatever you got to do to make it more desirable to come here. So yeah, I feel you. That's true. They could have made it happen.
That's a proven project in a sense. It's a proven manager. Like since he's come into Tottenham, they've improved massively, and they might have not improved their style of football, but their results have gone up. I rather now it's come to a point where I'm so used to seeing good football growing up as a football fan of Arsenal, but now we've been seeing dry football and dry results. You get me? And it's like a no-win situation. And I believe that Conte would have got the very best and dealt with a lot of the egos in the team a lot better than what Arteta has. And there's a lot of proof of it because he's got many years of managerial experience where Arteta has got none. So as a businessman and as a somebody who thinks with a little bit of common sense, you'd see something like that. But obviously Vinay, he's daft. He doesn't have a clue. He's done absolutely nothing since he's come to the club. He's brought nothing to the table. Edu, he just wants to sit on the beach and that, drinking wine and whatever. Mad thing. And the owners, they never come to the game themselves. They're not invested in the football club one bit, Tom. So we're just hoping on a manager like Arteta. This is what they're hoping can just stay in and around, and there's no real ambition. Players have left our club based on ambition. Sanchez, Van Persie, Nasri. Look, when you come into money, bro, you stripped half of our team. Sanya, Clichy. Do you know what I mean? Adebayor, like the Torre, the team just got, it's crazy, bro.
Mind you, man, innit? Yeah, it's true.
But this is where I'm seeing it, bro. If it carries on, we're going to be a middle.
But you know what? Yeah, my worry is my little worry for Arsenal beyond all of that, and if that wasn't enough to worry about already, is when I look at Arsenal and when I look at United as well, and I look at both of those situations and how kind of consistently bad they've been going, and how toxic both of them situations look. I think if you're a player or a manager, I think increasingly there are players and managers looking at Arsenal, looking at United, and even if the deal looks right, the money looks right, the situation looks right, I think there are some people that are going to be like, that's the place to go if you, like, things are just going wrong over there and my career might take a downwards turn. Do you know what I mean? There might be, and Aubameyang might be feeling like the last year or two of me being at Arsenal, a year's lost in my career because I was in a situation where from the top to the bottom, as you're saying, it's kind of so broken and so toxic that I've not been able to really just play my football and get into a good rhythm in a good winning side. And obviously every player can have the luxury of saying that, you know what I mean? If I was in a better team, I'd be doing better. But do you believe Pepe will play as a striker? Why didn't I've been reading that his plan is to put Martinelli up front and to really start putting Martinelli up down the middle every week.
I think Arteta's daft, you see, because I believe that there's an opportunity there for Pepe to be given a run up front. I'm not saying play him there every game. Give him one,
Yeah.
2 games, see what he does.
Yeah.
Because when he was at Lille, he played in a more central role and he was smacking
Yeah.
the back out of the league, bro.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility, but Arteta will only do that if he's forced to do that. Just like he was forced to bring in Martinelli, just like he was forced to bring in Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yeah,
So
you don't want to be on that back
I
foot
guarantee
mentality.
you, Nav. I doubt you'll see Pepe playing as a striker because whatever's makes sense, Arteta doesn't really normally do. But I think Martinelli's a good shout up front with Emil Smith-Rowe on the left and Saka on the right. Obviously, hungry, young, diverse, and that. To be fair, I think that's probably the best front three that we've got right now. Obviously, in terms of linking up with the play, Lacazette does give you a lot. He helps with the link-up play, but there's just not enough goals in him. And we shot ourselves in the foot this window. We shot ourselves in the foot.
I know. Yeah, I can't decide whether Arteta out, Kroenke out. Yeah, man. I can't decide whether I should be saving you from Arsenal and moving on to another team, or whether we should keep it here.
Yeah, let's move on.
Them are sad.
Nah, let's move on, bro. I can't even, bro. You know what it is? See this window that
I
just
hope
happened,
for the best,
bro.
man. Arsenal are meant to be up here. I wish bro. That would be. I would way prefer that we was up here at the top, fighting it out with you guys each season, than flipping Liverpool's and Chelsea's. Like, you guys need to get your act together, man.
Nah,
you guys are meant to be up here.
Let me ask you something, Tom. Yeah.
Go on.
So, what do you think about City post Pep? Do you think when Pep Guardiola leaves Man City, they're going to be they're going to have a little period where they're going to have a little rebuild, clear some players out, bring some players in, and struggle for a few seasons? I know it looks hard because City always sick with forward thinking and planning forward, and look, they've already signed a player for the next season already. So the structure at City is pretty great. But can you see, as a City fan, there's a possibility of a dip with City after Pep goes?
You know what? Yeah, I think it was recently when I'd read something and they'd mentioned, like, Pep, however long he's got left, at the end of next season or whenever, and it kind of hit me for the first time of like, there will be a day when Pep's not here anymore. And it's not just, you don't go into every game and every competition with that confidence of just, we have who is, in my opinion, not only the best manager in the world, but possibly one of the greatest manager, if not the greatest manager of all time. Like, he's up in that conversation. So when that person moves on, I don't think there's anyone in world football right now that can replace Pep, because there's no one better than Pep, in my opinion. But I do think that the City owners,
are you going to get Arteta? Like this guy just says.
You know what's funny, yeah? You know what? This is where I was just about to take it. I thought for a while that City were either kind of grooming Vieira or Arteta to be Pep's new replacement. I know. Ain't that weird? Use it when I hear guys using it in football talk, but it doesn't sound good, does it? But you know what I mean? I thought that either Vieira, because he was in charge of the youth team set up and I think the New York team for a while, and some of us, like, or Arteta being his coach. I was wondering whether one of those two, they were kind of like preeing them up for life after Pep. Obviously, I don't feel like that about Arteta anymore. And to answer you, I didn't see who it was, but no, I don't want Arteta. But I don't know that Vieira couldn't eventually be a good fit. Obviously, we'd have to see how he goes at Crystal Palace, but if Pep and the owners have got a game plan for when he leaves, and they're very strategic, well thought out people, like you said, the plan years ahead. So I don't think Pep or the owners are just going to be like leaving and it's like a team and there's no plan. And the situation we had with United with Ferguson, or with Arsenal, where Wenger might have had a plan, but because in the end he kind of left, I guess, before it was when he would have chose to, any plan wouldn't have been completed anyway. I don't think that's going to be the situation with Pep and the owners. So I'd like to think that they've got some kind of a game plan. And I have wondered whether someone like Vieira, was in the club for however many years and was learning the ins and outs of it, and then has gone away for a few years, is getting experience at different clubs, would they at some point look to bring a manager like that back in and kind of set them in with the Pep kind of system, or will they just go for another mega manager?
Well, he's doing a good job at Crystal Palace. Look, he came in, took over from Roy Hodgson, and he's implemented a style of play there where when you watch Crystal Palace now, you can see he's not just get the ball, knock it to Zaha, go down and see what's the best that can happen.
He was such a player, Vieira, as well, man. Yeah, there was never going to be Like,
I met him in
you
it.
gotta
I
love
met him at
Vieira. What
David's
a
in Moss
baller.
Side, man. I met him in David's
Okay.
barbershop in Moss Side, man. And
Shout out to
this was
David.
years ago
Yeah.
when he came to City and that. And then
Okay.
yeah, it was just man. It was just mesmerizing seeing him like that
Yep.
close and like him speaking to you, and it was just
Legend.
mad, man. Proper,
Real
it's
life
good,
legend.
man.
He seems like he'd be a nice guy as well when you meet him. Like,
Yeah,
he's got a kind
sound,
of a
proper
calm.
sound, man.
Yeah.
He's got a good
That's
personality
good to
about him,
know.
and that I seen him
Yeah.
sticking it on the referee the other day, and that though. Did you see him on the Sky Sports and that? Seeing him sticking it on him, but I think Vieira might not be a bad shot. I think with City though, I think they'll go for somebody like they'll try to get like a Ten Hag or try to go for somebody a bit like
I think
that.
the problem is, yeah, I feel like Pep's philosophy has been so effective and has been spread so far throughout the club. So like my brother, shout out to my bro, he gave me this actually from when he was working at City
Big up Will.
big up Will, man. He was working as a coach for City for a while with the younger kids. And he was saying that everything down to like the under sixes or under sevens or whatever it is, it's all like Pep has kind of strategized everything. He has a say in everything. He really has like been part of every decision all the way down, and kind of from the City down to the youth team, no doubt with the clubs that they've got in other parts of the world. He's been part of putting together that blueprint. So I think in a way, it doesn't necessarily make sense to go out and get a manager that's another manager with their own different strong philosophy that's like potentially different to Pep's. I'm not saying that Hag is like totally different to Pep, but I feel like it almost makes more sense for City to bring someone in who is kind of tasked with picking up where Pep left off, and it's saying, right, this is the blueprint that Pep had laid. This is where the club's at the moment. This is, you know, the 2 year and 5 year plan. These are the players we've got. These are the players we're thinking of adding. Obviously, as a manager, they've got to come in then and make decisions game to game and manage, and eventually, hopefully, put their own imprint on it. But I think that kind of continuation is going to make more sense than let's bring in, you know, a big proven manager, even that, you know, even if City brought in a I don't know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, you know, a Simeone or a you know, a Conte, if he hadn't been at Tottenham, people that have won things before, if they come in and they've got a very different system and philosophy, for me, that's when you're going to get that. Now we've got to rebuild because there can't be a continuation. City's squad's young enough that they should be able to outlast Pep into a new manager. So you want
could you see a Poch or a Zidane there at City? Somebody like that of that caliber.
Bro, it's hard. Even as we're saying it, it's hard for me to imagine anyone there but Pep. Obviously, we're gonna have that's something that City fans are gonna have to come to terms with when that time comes. But
just enjoying the ride while it lasts.
Enjoying it while it lasts, hoping that we can rack up as many trophies. Hopefully, we can get that Champions League done. Like that was a hard moment, you know, losing that final to Chelsea last year, because that was the kind of would have been the last piece in the, you know, in the trophy cabinet. And just to take it back full circle to the start of our conversation, I think a lot of football fans, you know, when they see City fans today, they may, especially from our generation, they might not realize that for a lot of us, the first half of our life watching City, we didn't win anything and hadn't won anything for 30 plus years. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, my pops and my uncle, rest in peace, he'd been going to watch City for over 30 years without seeing us win anything, and passed away before we won the first trophy. And then since then, you know, he wouldn't believe to see the way we've dominated world football. So I would love to, I'd love to see us get that Champions League under Pep. I thought last year we were going to do the madness and win everything, but obviously in the end, you know, I still can't understand why Pep didn't play Fernandinho in the final. That would be one of them hard ones where I love Pep, I can't question him, but it'd be hard to forgive him for that decision because Fernandinho is such a legend as well, and it was just didn't make sense to me. But hopefully it will happen before he goes, because otherwise, then like you say, you can get thrown into a rebuild, and then it can be 5, 10, 15, 20 years until you get in your shot again. So you got to make it count while you're here.
I doubt that for City though. Like they got all the resources, the financial power, the ability for it to
but look how much money there is in the league now. There's a lot of teams that can compete now financially. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, Arsenal I think we added it up before, didn't we? And we said that about 16 of the 20 clubs in the Premier League, 14 or 16. I should have counted it just before we came on, but I've got owners that have got an estimated net worth of over £1 billion, and there's like another 4 in the Championship. So it must have been 16 and 4, because we were saying there's at least 20 teams that could make it the Premier League where all the owners have got at least $1 billion. Now, okay, 30 billion is probably nicer than 3 billion or whatever it is that the Newcastle guys have got, but when we're getting into these realms of money, don't you think that all of these clubs are going to be able to start competing financially? Like the transfer prices can only go so high. They're not going to, players aren't going, aren't costing billions.
I think that's another thing as well, why we are getting the most competitive Premier League ever as well, because the money's in England right now. All the sponsorships, the TV rights, like it's the most watched league in the world. And that's just clearly it shows because of the level of quality that's in the league and the level of payments that each club's giving out to players. So in regards to it's just hard for me to differentiate like how it will end up. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not 100% sure how it would end up with the money in the league, because we've had money in the league now for a good part of 10, 12 solid years, and all we've seen that is evident, whoever's got the money is up there.
Dominating.
Is look at PSG. Obviously, I know we're moving away from the Premier League, but look at PSG. They've got, before they really had that injection of money, no one really heard about PSG. Do you know what I mean? Like they weren't really.
But we didn't care about the
bits.
French league in general.
But I'm on about like even in the Champions League and that. No one was hearing PSG's name knocking around back in the day, like on a consistent.
But they've still not managed to go all the way.
But financially,
they've got
them the
means.
Support to challenge and
get a Messi in through the door and do certain Neymar and have certain moments.
Get me. They got an
so where does that leave you with Newcastle then? So where does it leave you with Newcastle then? Because I feel like a minute ago you said that it's hard for you to see, regardless of what happens post-Pep, City not being there or thereabouts because of the funds. So is that why, what do you see it happening for Newcastle? Because they've still got to get out of the bottom three first, so that slows things down.
It's longevity though, because see with Newcastle, their fans are willing to wait 5-6 years because they've never had it. They've had hell for the time with Mike Ashley. So to them, just signing a Bruno Guimaraes, if I was them, I'd be buzzing. Oh, we beat him for Arsenal from signing him. Like, to me, if I was a Newcastle fan, that's big move, big progression, big step.
20 years since this year, since they've been in the top 4, Newcastle. 20 years.
Well, I don't think they'll get it. I don't think they'll get it this year. But
well, they won't. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, like you say, they've waited, so they'll wait a bit longer, innit? Do you think the owners will wait? Like if they went down and then it was a lot slower of a build than they thought, do you think the owners will still stay interested and invested in throwing money at it, or will they slow down a bit if it isn't working?
I think they'll stay because I think they're from the Middle East as well. Yeah, I think it will be a bit of a ego thing as well. That I'm not failing. Because if you're getting along, a lot of these guys that buy in these football clubs and that, they're all probably boys and that. This is like toys and games to them, really. Whoever's club can win the most, and you got to think about it. These are filthy rich people. So he ain't going to want to go back looking like he ain't won one trophy and he spent billions. It's a failure to him. So I can't see that happening. I can see them getting all the right structure in place. And look, bro, if you're convincing Kieran Trippier and Bruno Guimaraes and players like that, like I said, money talks. That's probably the main reason why they've gone there. But at the end of the day, they've had that conversation with them and they brought them in. They've got them over the line. So you can see progressive moves there already. And I just think with the investment and bringing the right type of signings in, bro, I think Newcastle within the next 5 years, they'll comfortably be challenging for the top 4. Because
have they done enough to stay up this season, do you think?
Personally, I think they will stay up because I think Watford, Burnley, and who's the other team now? Watford, Burnley, and Norwich. I think they're going to go down. I have a feeling. I think Norwich,
Burnley, and Norwich. Yeah, because Norwich are in Newcastle's reach. I mean, Newcastle are on 15 points, but with a game in hand, Norwich are on 16 points. Burnley on 13 points.
Like 4
I mean,
games
they've
in
got
hand or something.
you don't want to be in that position, do you? Especially
Nah.
in a relegation dogfight, you do not want to be in the position of having bare games in hand, and now suddenly you're like right at the bottom of the table. Because if they win, what they got? They got three games in hand on Norwich. If they win all 3 of them, they'll jump above Everton. They'd be flipping, 16th, 17th. But at the moment, that's not got to look good if you're a Burnley fan, and then you've got to wait this long Christmas winter break, just watching your team be bottom.
Nah, it's
And
a mad
Burnley,
thing.
Burnley, it's a funny one on the competitive note because Burnley, they managed to get something going there for a while, and they were knocking around the top 8, top 7 for a few seasons. But maybe that is evidence to, even for these clubs that are trying to push on. Yes.
Peace.
Love,
That's
peace.
deep. That's deep. That
Is it? Love,
yeah,
deep.
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it, man. I think if you don't have that money there, and then a Villa or an Everton or whoever has a good run like Burnley did, then you can't sustain it because eventually the players are going to age, or they're going to get bought out, or the manager's going to move on, and then they're just going to slide back down again. So,
just going on to quickly West Ham here,
yeah,
because I've just seen this fella here put Arsenal and West Ham have dead players. See, I don't think West Ham really do have, I don't think they're dead. I think they're overachieving for the standard of players that they've got, to be honest with you. Because if you would have told me West Ham would be in and around the top 4 conversation at the start of the season, I would have said, nah, that's not happening. Do you know what I mean? It'd be a
that West
very
Ham
big
team
surprise.
looks like it doesn't look like it's got any or many weak points. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal, we look at the team and we're looking at some really good players on paper in and around, but then there's bare holes on the pitch where you think that's disasters waiting to happen. Granit Xhaka, every time I see his name on the team sheet, I'm thinking this game could just go left at any minute because of him. Do you know what I mean? United have got players like that on their team, plenty guys where you just think, even all down to Maguire and all of them guys, you look at them and you just think they've got mistakes in them. That West Ham team, I don't know if it's the players or the mentality, but even the ones that aren't world beaters, they will come and do whatever the manager needs to do for him 9.5 games out of 10. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the players in and around them that have got some class that can then turn up and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Like Antonio is really stepping up to who he needs to be. Declan Rice.
But he's getting old though now.
I didn't want to rate Declan Rice the way that everyone else was rating him.
I
At
like
first,
it.
he just looked a bit stale. But now, the more I'm watching him, the more I'm, my bro said to me, "Yo, you need to watch him again, man." Like and I'm watching him, and I'm seeing like this guy has got bare different facets to his game.
Yeah, he's quality.
He looks good. But
United will get him.
West Ham going to be able? United will get him.
I have a feeling they'll go to United. I don't know why, bro. I swear.
If he goes to United, that's a bad move. And this is what I was saying to you before about players needing to look at United and maybe Arsenal. I'm not putting that out there, but certain situations that are a bit toxic, and thinking, even if it's a big money and a big club, it might end up being a backward step in you. I think Maguire in some ways is almost in a worse position now than he was where he was before, because he's gone into a team where there's all the talk about you competing, but then the underachieving, you're getting paid big money, there's big pressure on your shoulders. Now you're not playing as well, and now you're coming out the back end of that, and your career's kind of lost momentum. Do you know what I mean? I think Declan Rice, you could go there, and if United don't sort out what they're doing over there, and if you can't single-handedly do that and make their situation better, then your career can stumble a little bit. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
I think he'd be better off going to one at some of these other clubs that we've talked about if he's going anywhere. Maybe going to a Chelsea or something.
Or Liverpool. See, he might even be fitting.
Or a Liverpool. Yeah, replacing that Henderson kind of hole or whatever. But I think going United for him, I think that.
I just don't know what it is. I just have a feeling like United are one of them teams that they get them English kind of players that. Yeah. It's like when Grealish, best believe, if this was like say 7-8 years ago, it'd be United getting Grealish and not City. Because they had a habit of getting them players. It's like, for me, I think where United are going wrong at the moment is having Ronaldo in their team. I think bringing such a big superstar back to the club on obviously a decline, because he's not the same player he once was. Yeah, he might still get you goals, but the effectiveness in the team, it just ends up, it doesn't. You can't really see that chemistry there, and I just
do you think there's
a problem for
them?
them.
Do you think there's any world where City masterminded that whole situation? Where they went in for Ronaldo, not
City
really
fans
wanting
like
him,
to say that, innit? Big Steve
knowing that
says that as
he
well.
was... I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't think I'd necessarily believe that. But is there a world where that exists, where the City owners or managers or whatever, I've heard from some talk from his agent that he would listen to an offer, and have sat down and said, look, let's put in an offer. If we get him, we don't even really need to play him if we don't want to. And when we do play him, he'll just be there cleaning up goals.
Expensive bluff, that, innit?
But if he'd come to City, I think it could have worked. That's the fucked up thing. Do you know what I
Just
mean?
up
Again,
front.
sorry for my... we're trying to keep
It's
the
live,
stream
man.
clean, and it's me that's
just
me
do
that's
your
sworn twice.
thing,
But
Tom. When you're on here, just
I
do
think
whatever.
it could.
You're
I
live.
was a bit gassed when I thought City were going to get him, but that's because I thought it could have worked in our system, and I think there was less pressure, and I think that he could have maybe Pep could have found a way to just slot him in where he's just mopping up all the goals that are getting created by the team. At United, he's coming in there. He don't look mobile. He don't look like he can make things happen on his own. And the team behind him, he's just all over the place, and they're not creating for
he
him
would
in
have
the way
been
they need to
better
create.
suited to playing up front for a City because, like you say, the team behind him more or less does all
Should
the
have come
work
Arsenal.
anyway. Yeah, he was gonna come Arsenal, but it looks like we fucked that one right up, didn't we? So it's a madness. We almost got everyone. We almost signed everyone and signed no one, bro. And it's just like we were signing Higuain and Benzema for years, bro. Like at Arsenal, bro. You just end up becoming used to living with disappointment. That's probably the best phrase to use because.
But you guys could still go on up if you guys win your game in hand, you'd be fourth and a point above United. So do you feel like Arsenal fans as well at this point, in like an effort to kind of keep manager expectations, as soon as things have took a bad turn these last few weeks, you have kind of like mapped out the rest of the season as a failure ahead of you because of the bad decisions that have been made, because of the bad performances, but also because you're trying to like prevent a situation where you're being optimistic and feeling like, if we bounce off them last couple of games and turn around a good run and go on another good run of winning 5 out of 6 or something, we could put ourselves in pole position for getting that 4th place, and then the season isn't a wrap. Like I don't fully understand why it's game over for Arsenal fans. You're still on paper up there to get that 4th place spot. Do you know what I mean?
This is how I know you don't watch Arsenal, fam. Because if you watched Arsenal, you'd know.
You look tragic.
Bro, I'm telling you now, there's how many games left? 17 games left, Our squad is so thin right about now, We could just we get 1, 2 injuries. We get 3 people out with COVID, bro. It's a write-off. We're playing 17-year-old kids that have had no experience against men. Yeah, they might be talented. They might come on and be 1 in 100 chance that they might have an absolute blinder and be the next superstar. But that's going to be very rare, bro. Yeah, we're going to have players like Granit Xhaka in the team. That's the biggest liability, ready to get a red card and get sent off. Then we're bringing in Lokonga, who's a good talent. However, he's too young and inexperienced, and he needs to get that strength a little bit about himself. We needed a striker badly. We've Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette have scored 3 goals between them in the Premier League. You get me?
Yeah, it's not good.
The manager doesn't know how to sort out problems within the squad. If anything, he looked like he just stopped speaking to Aubameyang, shipped him off. Yeah, I don't mind Aubameyang going because we do need to, as fans, learn when to move on and the time to move on from players. However, don't let him go if you're not going to bring anyone else in, because even though shit might be a bit sour now, go and have that conversation with him. See, because the guy scored more goals still than them 2 put together. So it doesn't make no sense. So when I see all of this, bro, we have got a younger squad and there's this promising moments and stuff like that, but it doesn't give me the confidence as a fan who watches my team week in, week out to say, right, okay, that's it now. We're definitely challenging or definitely going to make the top 4 when you've got Conte at Tottenham, for me, who's a 10 times better manager than Arteta. And for me, experience in certain aspects plays a massive part. And it just shows all these great managers don't win continuously for years if it's luck. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
And oh, bro, I'm telling you, I've just had enough of Arsenal.
I agree with everything you say and everything you've been saying on this channel. So it's not that I think that Arsenal are suddenly great and Arteta's great. I just think that it's not the season's not over.
Bro, it's over. There's no FA Cup. We can't win no FA Cup. We can't win no Carling Cup. 9 out of 10, even if we get top 4, yeah, great, we're in the Champions League, but no one's going to remember in 10 years' time, oh, you got fourth, fam. You get me? We were a team that are used to hammering teams, a team that are used to saying, oh, we'll go to the game, we'll win this one. Now we're saying, oh, we'll get this many. Oh, it's become a joke because the fans of the club as well, not every fan, but a lot of fans accept it because it's become a gradual decline that they've gradually become okay with, and it's become like something that hurts, but it just less hurts over time, and you gradually become all right with that thing. But nah, not for me, bro. We're one of the biggest teams in England, if not the world, and the fan base is huge. The platform is huge for the Arsenal players. Do you know what I mean? People are going there, spending their hard-earned money, the most expensive tickets in the league, bro, the most expensive everything. Give something back in return. Let them fans every single season that are going game in, game out, home and away, let them believe, there's a chance for us winning the league this year. Football's about winning. Football's not about participating, Tom. You get me? So
I agree with you. I just think look at what the competition you're up against, and this is where we keep coming back to this conversation about.
But if our board and our
City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Tottenham. Yeah, but even if they're clever, even if they were, I agree with that they're not clever and they're not making good decisions. Even if they suddenly start making all the right decisions, I don't know if that turns into Arsenal winning the league anyway, because they've got so much competition to come up against. Now, that's not me saying you can't ever win the league again.
It put us better placed. Like you're listening, but you're not hearing. So what I'm saying is as a fan, we want to be going into the season knowing there's a possibility of us winning the league.
We could do a Leicester, we could do something.
That doesn't mean or even if there's 3 teams challenging for team, even if we're the third team that's challenging
you're Chelsea this year, say for example.
It's a possibility, because then you're going and you believe you've got something to believe on. Every year I'm going, I know, by Christmas, by January, it's all done for us. It's about keeping it respectful.
You're in that, right? You are in that now, like,
and that shouldn't be the case for us, bro. Everton, like we won 13 league titles, bro. 14. We're not no small club. We're big dogs, so it shouldn't be happening. So this is why it's look, when you start talking about your bro, the stress starts coming out because
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you an Arsenal question that hopefully won't be as stressful. If this season, let's say if this season you finish 4th or 5th, right? But instead of Arteta and instead of all the machiness that's been happening around the club and how they've been treating the players and the fans and Xhaka and all the rest of it, if you had, say, a Graham Potter in and you had a squad of players that, were a lot of them young players, but were playing with a philosophy and with a style and with some principle, and were carrying themselves, the manager and the players were carrying themselves with some integrity in a way you could feel proud of, and then Arsenal finish 4th or 5th, do you feel better about that season than potentially still maybe finishing 4th or 5th this season, but there being so many other things wrong and having a manager that you not only don't really believe in, but don't vibe with in terms of how he carries himself? Like, would things, because I guess what we're saying is, like you said, I get what I'm getting from you is that, no, I'm not saying I won't be happy until we're winning the league every season, but we want to be going into the season feeling like it could happen, feeling like, we're here to compete.
Football's about winning.
That's true. So does that mean then that must mean then that as long as you feel like you guys went into the season with that and tried and competed and put in something to be proud of, even if it didn't work out at the end, you'd probably feel more okay at the end of those seasons as a fan? Or is it just until we start winning some trophies again, by any means, it's not, this itch ain't going to be scratched. I'm not going to feel good about my club until we're winning again?
See, the thing is, Tom, like, I'm a realist in it. Like, I'm not daft where I think that over a click, we're just going to start winning the leagues and everyone's going to turn shit and we're never, do you know what I mean? We're going to be on top of the world. I know that's why it is going to be a difficult situation. However, we're a club, that move like amateurs, See Chelsea, they've sacked like 10 managers in 10 years and they got 10 trophies. You get me? Because the owner is invested in the club. The problem with Arsenal Football Club, Tom, it's hard for me to explain, because like I've become so used to it now. I just already know what's going to happen. We've seen a youth project with Arteta. Like you say, it's a bit difficult, the one with the Graham Potter and Arteta, because really all the thing is, it's just swapping the manager in it, really. Do you know what I mean? Because the both outcomes both the same. But regardless if it was Graham Potter or it was Arteta, for me, it's a results-based business. Now, if we're winning the odd FA Cup here and the Carling Cup, the Carabao Cup, and stuff like that,
Champions League, then having a good run.
But that's what I'm saying. If we're competing for the league, we're automatically in the Champions League anyway. We're already in there in the mix with the elite. So that will then give you more room to sign better players, more room for people wanting to join your club, and also for brand exposure as well. It'll help everything grow in a positive light. So that will prevent us from, like the other guy said before, dropping as a mid-table club. Because you tell me now, we've not been in the Champions League for 5-6 years, bro. You get me? Eventually, we was in there for like 20 odd years consistently. Like, it's a madness, bro. Like, people in there,
it's only going to get harder.
People in there, like teams like Atlanta and that, probably don't even know what Arsenal is and that, because we were in the Champions League. Like, it's just madness, bro. So going back to it, unless somebody is challenging for the title, challenging in the trophies, not getting knocked out in the 3rd and 4th round, getting us to finals, and we're seeing good progression within the team, then I'm not going to be happy, bro. You get me? Like, don't get me wrong. If Potter came in and he got 4th, I would give him that season to then see if he can push and challenge. If he can't push and challenge, get a new manager in that can build on the work you've already done.
Yeah.
Because it seems to work for everyone else, but it is not all right for us to complain and bitch about stuff. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, I don't knock you for it. I just wanted to clarify.
No, I just started ranting when only talks.
No, I hear you. It's listen, it's what the people love.
Off,
the Premsy rants, is what got us here in the first place. All right, let me ask you another quick question. I know we've just gone past the hour mark, but I did want to ask you another question. Who do you think will win a major trophy first, Arsenal or Newcastle?
Oh, you're mocking it, aren't you?
I'm not mocking it. Let's say not count League Cup. Let's say FA Cup, Premier League, or Champions League.
Well, obviously I say Arsenal. We only won the FA Cup 2 seasons ago, so it wasn't like. Do you know what I mean? So I can. All right.
See, what about a league or a Premier League then?
See, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'll be totally honest with you. Like, man's scared. Like, if Newcastle in the next 3 seasons...
Yo, listen, because you said I was mocking it, but then you started to think about it.
But it's true. Listen. Like, but obviously I'm talking about like FA Cups and all that. Like, Arsenal, we're the best at it, innit? Like, really, that's our cup we collect. So I can see us picking up one of them.
The Emirates, I told you, man.
Do you know what I mean? I can see us maybe picking up one of them. But when it comes to the league or something of that significance, I can't see the structure in place at Arsenal to challenge for the league anytime soon. And when I mean anytime soon, bro, I'm sure Arteta, when he comes, said he wanted to win the Champions League at Arsenal within 3 years. Yeah, good one. Do you know what I mean, bro? 2 seasons, 8th. You're having a laugh. Do you know what I mean? So with Newcastle, they've got the money there and they've got the owner there that wants it to work. Like you said before, our owner... I'm going for Newcastle. I'm going for Newcastle. You know what I mean, bro? It's not impossible. Leicester done it without the money.
Bro, I couldn't believe it when I looked back over that season earlier and they won the league by 10 points that season. They didn't just win it, like scrape it, but they were 10 points clear.
If we in January would have brought a midfielder in that season, we would have smacked it.
What year was that? Remind me what year that was.
15-16 season.
Oh, it's not letting me on the
15-16 season. I think it was 15-16 season.
Where did you finish that year? Go on. Didn't you have a good season? Like, where did you finish that year?
Second.
Bruv. That would have been a good year to get another. Oh yeah. That wasn't that long ago. That was on. See, but that was a weird season, wasn't it? Like, you look at that league table that year, it don't look anything like any of the years around it.
Everybody had a mare. I think that was 10th or something, 8th or 10th that season.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. But people, big up for watching. Everyone that's watched 100%. Now and tuned in, enough love and respect. Big up to yourself. Big up to Tom. Obviously, this is a weekly show, so you're going to see us every single week. We haven't really set a date in stone. However, it will come one time a week eventually when we can clear some schedules and stuff, because obviously Tom's a busy man as well, works and whatnot. So we have to try to do it as and when we can, but we'll definitely come to you once a week. Make sure that you're liking. If you're new, subscribing. Make sure you go and follow Tom on Instagram as well. And yo, Tom, man, big up, man. First show. It was a good
Thanks
one.
for having me, man. Yeah,
And
man.
yeah, if you want to say anything to the people, it's your show as well now. So do you think?
Thank you to everyone that locked in, man. You know, it's my first time doing this, and Prem coached me through it, so I think we've done okay. But I appreciate everyone that was engaging, dropping some messages. It kind of helped us keep bouncing through the conversation, and yeah, come on, Middlesbrough. Oh, absolutely.
I just had to put that one up as well. You know what I mean? I just had to put that one up.
100%. See, I can't see these at my end. I'm just seeing the ones that are popping up.
Oh,
love people.
No worries. But yeah, people, peace out, love, and we'll see you on the next one.
Blends.